We are just 1 week away from the NBA draft lottery. So joining me now is Mina Kimes, who spent some time with Luka Doncic for a fascinating story that you got to check out in ESPN, the magazine. Luka Doncic is no Darko Milicic. It's a mouthful just to say those names. But Mina, great to see you. Mina, the article is fascinating. You spent so much time with him, walking the streets of Madrid even. What is he like off the court?
He is very much a teen. He's a 19-year-old kid who listens to American rap music. He came out to Santa Barbara to work out a couple of summers ago, and I think he picked up a lot of culture out there. So he's very eager to move out here and I think start a life both in the NBA but also in America. Now,
he's not coming in for workouts before the draft. That's an issue here. I want you to explain for us why that is, but also what are the risks involved for a team thinking about drafting him, especially drafting him #1?
Right, so as far as the workouts, that's something that NBA teams have known for a while. It's not surprising to them because, as you mentioned earlier, he's still in the EuroLeague. His team is in the playoffs right now, Real Madrid. They also play in the Spanish ACB League. That postseason could drag out past the draft, so he might not actually be physically present at the draft. Teams aren't really worried about that. There's a question of who gets his medical information, but he's played so much. They have so much tape on them. Every GM has seen him play in person at this point. So I don't think there are a lot of question marks about his game.
Yeah, and we forget about that. This is a new era. It's not like 15, 20 years ago when you barely saw a guy and you drafted him on rep. Now you can see him every single game. So what is holding teams back? Is there, in terms of drafting him #1 or towards the top of the draft, is there a sort of foreign-born player bias in the NBA?
You know, you think in 2018 we'd be past that, but there still is a little bit of stereotyping and hesitation, and the fear of drafting a European bust is greater, I think, than the fear of drafting an American bust for no good reason at all. But I will say, almost nobody thinks he's going to bust. With him, the floor is very high. The question is, where is the ceiling, given his athleticism, which might be the only question mark I've heard from teams about his game.
I loved how you put in your article, he reads what's out there, he tries to stay away from it, so he's got to be aware of Skidishvili and Milicic and even Bargnani. People talk about these guys not living up to their expectations in the pros. What does he think about trying to live up to that, and what makes him different from them?
Well, I think he's definitely aware of that, but he's also aware of Kristaps Porzingis, right? And all of the European players right now who are excelling, Jokic, Giannis. Those guys are clearing a path for him. I mean, Kristaps was booed at the draft not that long ago, but in that time, since then, I think more fans are appreciating European players and their game. He's very cognizant of that, of those players, and I found that they're rooting for him as well. Dragic, you heard from, they want him to succeed in the NBA to sort of continue that path clearing.